Welcome back, everyone. Guess what? We get to finally talk about another iPhone that came out a couple of years ago, and this one is actually the iPhone 6 Plus. Now, what's very interesting is that this specific iPhone was actually the first iPhone that I fully used as an iOS user. I had iPhones before that I was pretty much using as an iPod Touch, but this one was the first one I used. I put my SIM card in it and I moved on with my life. And what's crazy is that with the 6 Plus, it physically still feels pretty premium when you compare it to a lot of other phones that came out in 2014. Things like, I think the Galaxy S5 came out that year and other phones like that. The iPhone 6 and 6 Plus feel so premium still, and I'm still so surprised how good this phone feels. And what's interesting is Apple, even though this design is still completely outdated, Apple is still selling this design in a way with the iPhone SE 2. Now, obviously it's a smaller footprint, but the 6 Plus, in my opinion, is a really big, update in a lot of different ways. It did flop in some areas because of the whole bend gate issue and all that stuff. We don't have to get into it super crazy, but that was a pretty crazy thing that happened. And that really did affect Apple's, image as a whole across the whole entire industry. They did fix it. It wasn't anything super crazy, but I will tell you, the fact that that major thing happened and they were able to pretty much even fix it like a generation or two behind and nobody even really thinks about it anymore is pretty interesting. People still bring up the Galaxy Note 7 all the time, which was probably a crazy thing. But with the 6 Plus, I don't even think this phone has a bad legacy, which is crazy for how bad of an issue it was at the time. Now, the display 5.5 inch panel, definitely not bad. I still think it looks pretty good for the most part. Home button Touch ID 1, bezels on the top and bottom, definitely anything crazy that we haven't seen before. A lightning port and a headphone jack, which still is really cool. I love having that type of I/O. It was one of the last iPhones to have a headphone jack, not the last one, but one of the last ones. You got an aluminum back with a single camera on the back as well. And overall, one of my favorite things about this phone is that, it is still a big, massive phone, but also it still feels extremely premium. It's one of my favorite things about it. The battery size was also the biggest battery size of that time on any iPhone from before. So that obviously deserves some credit as well. The camera, honestly, when I had it, and I owned it I think in 2016, the camera quality was actually really good. It was much better than I was expecting it to be. And at that time, I think iPhones were notorious of having the best cameras. It's a single 8 megapixel sensor, 1080p video. Definitely not going to break any world records with this thing, but it's a pretty decent camera still, and I'm pretty happy with it. The front camera is 720p, so again, nothing crazy with that one either. But I think as a whole, the camera quality is pretty decent for this day and age. Now, software-wise, this thing is pretty much completely outdated. It's getting iOS 12, security updates here and there, and I've been covering iOS 12 like crazy. Once there's an update, I talk about it. And with the last couple of updates, there's been security updates, which is cool. So if anything crazy happens, most likely there's going to be an update for it for the specific device. So I'm really happy about that. But I think for the most part, with something like the iPhone 6 Plus, most people have probably already moved away from it. So you're probably not even using this phone anymore. But if you are, you're still getting, updates in one way or another, which I think is pretty awesome. Now, another big thing is the performance. This thing, this thing has that Apple A8 chip inside of it. So I don't think anybody really cares about the performance anymore. But it also has 1 gig of RAM. And I think for the most part, if you need a phone that's going to have to, you have no other choice, you have to use an iPhone 6 Plus, I honestly do think I could still make it work. I don't think it would be a crazy big deal. I would just probably end up using my MacBook a lot more and really just using my iPhone 6 Plus as an Apple Watch almost, just checking notifications, picking up phone calls. I wouldn't really be doing anything super crazy with it. But I will tell you, I would not recommend buying a 6 Plus, and I'll probably just spoil the whole video. I think the 6 Plus was a great phone. It brought a lot to the table. It was the first big iPhone that we got. It was, beautiful, still feels really premium. The design's still kind of here with the SE2, but I just don't think it's worth it. Not even for the bend gate issues or anything like that, mostly because it's severely outdated in software. There really is no point in picking up this phone when you can pick up even a 6S Plus would be so much better than the 6 Plus. You're getting security, you're getting software support, and in the used market, there's really not that big of a difference there in the price tag either. So that pretty much covers it up. That's all I have to say about this phone. If you guys have any other questions or anything like that, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.